ᵛᵉŻᵏ. I will speak now.
But if we don't have 20 more blankets within the next hour, it won't matter that these people have the plague, because they'll die of hypothermia. Then do it. I'll reimburse you later. Just get moving. What I wouldn't give for a proper nurse. Maybe the College of Medicine could... Oh, my apologies. Can I help you? Another one. Well, everyone else here is busy, so I will handle your examination. Say, you seem familiar. I don't suppose we've met before. Of course. You'll forgive me for not recognizing you immediately. I perform dozens of those impromptu examinations. Tell me, how are you? But if you're here at this field hospital, then I imagine you must not be doing very well. Are you concerned that you might have contracted the plague? Oh dear. Well, do you recall the symptoms I went over with you the last time? Have you experienced any of those? The spectre in your dreams. Yes, that's certainly the most concerning one. However, it can also be difficult to tell if it's due to plague or if it's a simple nightmare. Could you describe this figure that you saw in your dream? And what color were the eyes? No eyes. Good. Well, not good, but I always ask that question to trip up people who are lying. You certainly do seem to be describing what other plague victims have experienced. You didn't look at it directly, did you? Oh dear. Well, try to avoid doing that in the future. No, I understand, but I'm afraid you didn't. It's not that the spectre is always moving towards you, but halts when you look at it. When you look at it, it moves closer as soon as you look away. We'd like to prevent it from reaching you at all costs. I wouldn't be worried. Well, not overly worried. Treating the disease also keeps the spectre at bay. To this day, I'm not entirely sure which is the cause of the other. Does the spectre cause the disease, or the disease cause the spectre? Which one is the treatment affecting? It's a concerning and frightening symptom either way, but also convenient in some ways. It's quite easy to keep an eye on the plague's progress this way. Well, it seems quite certain at this point that you have the plague, but I would still like to ask you a few questions. It's good to know which symptoms you are experiencing, and a few new ones have arisen as the plague has spread. Now, first for the original symptoms. Have you experienced excessive itchiness? Originally, the underarms and inner thighs were the most common, but the nape of the neck is now also a concern. Do you have any spots or discolorations on your skin? And if so, are any of them in the shape of something, particularly something that causes you fear? That's... I see. I didn't notice any missing teeth, but have any fallen out? Perhaps in the back? Or are any of them loose? Aha. And we've already confirmed the spectre. Well then, as for the new symptoms, have you found yourself speaking a language you never learned, particularly one that no one can identify? Has your hair spontaneously changed color? That appears to be the same color you had when I first saw you, unless you have dyed it. Have animals changed their behavior toward you? In particular, do domesticated animals avoid you, while wild animals appear drawn to you? Oh, that must have been embarrassing. And during a wedding, no less. Not to worry. That symptom generally wanes after the initial stage of the infection. And finally, have you experienced any intermittent blindness? Well, let's not spend any more time standing around here in the reception tent. Let's get you a room. This should do. Perhaps room was a bit misleading. We've been forced to set up this field hospital due to the healer's hall in your town being unusable. Quite a bit of contamination there, I'm afraid. Even though this is only a tent, we're doing our best to make each one private and comfortable. This bed has no blanket yet, but you'll have one within the hour, assuming someone does his job. The stove over there will hopefully keep you warm enough in the meantime. Winter is a dreadful time for the plague to start spreading this way, as warmth helps fight it off. But then, perhaps that's the very reason for the outbreak. There are a couple things to take note of. The most important is this bell here. If you ring this bell, a nurse will come to you immediately. We must ask that you save it for emergencies, as we have many patients. But nurses will check in on you regularly, so never fear. The second thing you should keep in mind is these herbs hanging over the bed. They have been very effective in slowing the spread of the plague. If you ever see these herbs starting to smolder or burn, let a nurse know immediately. Use the bell. Now, based on your symptoms, I've determined that you are a moderate risk patient. You are certainly infected, and it has had some time to fester within you. However, you came to us well before any permanent damage was done, and treatment should be effective on you unless anything unexpected happens. Oh, just like the burning herbs I mentioned, or a sudden onset of hypothermia, or something like that. None of it is likely. Have no fear. That is... Yes, that's a difficult question to answer, my dear patient. As to whether you've spread the plague to anyone else, I cannot be sure. If you could give me the names of anyone you've interacted with in the past few weeks, I can check in with them. I'm afraid it is possible. I wouldn't think of it that way. You can't live your life assuming that every little irregularity is a sign of disease. I've met people that think that way, and it's like a prison for them. You came to me as soon as you thought you might be sick, and that's all that can be expected of you. You mustn't hold yourself responsible for unintended infection. Now, of course, there are people in the world who will walk about and carelessly interact with others, even though they're aware they are infectious. That's a different matter entirely, of course. That's the sort of thing to be discouraged. If I may, I would like to perform a simple test. It will help me know how to treat you in the future. Thank you. First, I need a drop of your blood. If you could give me your finger, and there. Nothing serious. Now, I just put this in the vial and add a bit of this and that. How unusual. Oh, nothing to be nervous about. In fact, this is quite promising. Well, these fluids I added can help me tell how long you've been infected for. According to this, you've had the plague in your blood since... since before we even met the first time. Indeed, quite surprising. You didn't exhibit any symptoms back then, and for quite a while after. I have long theorized that some people have a certain strength in their blood, something that inhibits the spread of disease. You may be one such person. Would you mind if I gathered a bit more blood? Just one vial full. I might be able to use it to make our treatments more effective for everyone. you are a generous one. In that case, just one moment. This will be splendid. Thank you again. Now, as for your treatment, it seems likely that the plague will spread very slowly for you, so we can use a treatment that works more slowly, but is more thorough. You'll take a tincture of wolf's bane and mint every morning, and twice a week we will give you a hot herbal bath. For acute cases of plague, the sickness will outpace the treatment. But when that doesn't happen, this method has cured 15 out of every 16 patients, with no cases of resurgence. For now, I'll make sure you get something nice and hot to drink, and I'll send you a blanket the moment we get more. Rest well, my dear patient. You're going to do just fine under my supervision.